Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be jumping back down into the charts for XRP, reviewing what happened yesterday and what I think is likely to happen next. As I get into the video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, links in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7 and it's completely free, so why not check it out? It's in the description below. If you're looking for a little bit more from the crypto space, whether that's bear market strategies through to project reviews and trading, why not check out the Patreon as well in the description below. Okay, let's get into this though. So XRP paired up with USDT. This is our daily chart, and I wanted to start here just to kind of express what I was talking about yesterday. Essentially, this is an unpredictable E wave. It has actually overextended out of this trend line, something that we were talking about a little while ago, and something that we were kind of talking about as being an expected move. Obviously, the little accumulation zone's been and gone, so we can now remove this from the chart and we can get a better view over what is going on here. Now, one of the things that we have to acknowledge with these Elliott wave triangles is they have to be basically corrective patterns. They can't be impulsive patterns or anything like that. So we just want to review this to make sure everything is still intact. This is obviously a little bit concerning, but it is not an impulsive structure, but I'd say this is still a corrective structure right here, but it is carrying down a little bit. So we should expect potential bounce at some point soon. I know we've got a little bit of one here, but I still expect more downside first. And then a pullback down going lower. We should be looking for pretty definitive moves like what we see over here with this big A, B, and C move, something to that effect. You can kind of clearly see it on the daily chart, whereas actually what we've got here is actually probably more of something looking like this, where we have this kind of corrective pattern like that, right? And it looks like it's 5 waves, but it doesn't meet really any of those requirements for being impulsive in its nature. The sub wave counts don't allow for it, etc. So it's good to know that it's not an impulsive one and it is just corrective, but we are probably going to be experiencing a little bit more volatility here. It's possible that we drop down ever so slightly lower and all of that kind of good stuff. So I'm going to jump into the hourly chart in a minute, but I did want to kind of just highlight that this structure is still intact, even though that this is an unpredictable E wave that can kind of go down lower. We need to keep track of all of the movements that are going on the smaller time frames to know where we get that reversal and where we want to be necessarily thinking about impulsive structures upwards, because that is what would be expected. So as I kind of jump into this, I'm just going to zoom out a little bit further. And we can talk about the ABC nature of this. Now, we're calling it an ABC, but you can call it WXY if you want or whatever. Essentially, what I'm expecting is some kind of impulsive structure here and going up, and this would basically allow us to basically articulate this is a 3-wave move, this is our triangle based move, which would just be chalked up as a 3-wave move, and then we'd look for a 5-wave move at the end, 335 overall, although actually technically speaking our triangle is 5 waves in themselves, but we'd still look at it as a 3-wave move. So essentially that's kind of what we're looking for. We're looking for that next move upwards. Now originally our target was $9.97. that has changed as our E wave goes lower, just over here. As this goes down, so does our higher target. Okay, so and they are related to each other. So if I go ahead and actually just remove that line, we don't need it, and I'll go grab the fib, and I'll move the fib now over to this low point just over here, and I'm going to just expand this up a little bit so we can get this right on the level. So I'll put this here now and then zoom back out ever so slightly. We can see that that target is now $9.13. I still expect some more downside, so I would expect this to come back down as well as we start thinking about where this is going to go. Ultimately, it doesn't really change the percentage gains. They're all going to be relatively similar because it is a 1-to-1 ratio, and we really want to be monitoring the impulsive nature of this breakout of this triangle, as that is the one that is going to really give us the definitive end to this, because either any of these can be overextended. Normally it's a 3rd wave that overextends, but sometimes it can be the 5th waves and so forth. So it's important that we understand that there's an impulsive nature, 3 motive waves, 2 corrective waves, 1 simple correction, 1 complex correction in the next move upwards. So it's not a straight line, it's not a straight rocket ship to the moon or anything like that. It follows a very specific path, and so we want to be monitoring that situation as that time comes, but I still expect more downside first. So let's go ahead and jump down into our hourly view. We'll just expand this up a fraction here. Here we can see that we came down into this low C wave, and we can articulate this in many different ways. This could now be articulated as a 5-wave drop, basically making this a slightly deeper correction here. Again, inside of our corrective plays, I wouldn't be overly too concerned that it's a 5-wave count here at that point, but we can, of course, articulate it as such. So if I remove this and I remove this one, we can now actually take a look at this as maybe a slight bounce up before pulling back down ever so slightly lower. Now on here, what we want to do is we'll take a look at the stochastic RSI on our hourly chart. We can see that that is, of course, in the overbought area. Let me just make this a little bit bigger as we kind of pushing up here. Now in here, we actually have again, another kind of way of looking at this as a 5-wave structure from our low point. So we have our wave 1 just being right here. We then have our wave 2 low just right about here. And we can see that we push up. But we haven't actually hit the 1.618. This is okay. We can still call out a third wave because it has gone higher than the 1.382. Usually there's a lower probability, right? The highest probability of impulsiveness comes in when we actually hit 1.618, okay? But you can still have it a little bit lower, but normally it doesn't play out as a 5-wave move. There's a lower probability that you actually end up with like a 5th wave, for example. 4th wave normally just corrects all the way down again, and therefore it's actually just ABC the whole time. But here we can take a look at this. We can take a look at it as a 5-wave move, or we can take a look at it as an ABC move. For now, or a 5-wave move. So we could say that we've got 1, 2, 3, looking for 4, looking for 5, then breakdown. And if that is the case, then actually what we're looking at here, and this is pretty common across pretty much most, is that this becomes a zigzag, which is an A. We pull back down and we move up into a C wave. And as I was talking about on the larger time frame, we're looking for a significant kind of visible bounce, so that we can then pull on down. I think this could be it. And again, we're looking to come back down ever so slightly lower. So we're looking to just push up ever so slightly higher. Then we're looking for some kind of move down. Now we take a look at the 4-hourly stochastic RSI. You can see that we're just up in the overbought area. So this crash coming back down again is likely to happen soon. The 8-hourly chart is moving on up. Again, this doesn't have to go too high. We can, of course, pull back down. The daily chart actually needs to come down much lower, and the weekly is actually finally in the oversold area. So we're getting close to the bottom of a corrective play here, but we have a little bit more, I guess, volatility to be expected, both to the upper side and to the downside. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. Again, these are just micro movements. We shouldn't be overly too concerned about these. If we're accumulating, to be fair, anywhere below 40, between 40 and 50 cent is like a steal, in my opinion, for XRP. And of course, really, we want to zoom out to the bigger play. This is really the one that's actually going to be the one that drives the maximum amount of value to the hodler. So if you're not actively trading and you're just hodling, pay attention to what is going on here from the daily time frame perspective, and of course the weekly. Those are the ones that really matter. If you're looking to accumulate, then pay attention to the hourly chart and choose those moments to accumulate. Obviously, try not to buy the tops of like C-wave highs, for example. You want to be looking for the C-wave lows as they kind of come in, or the 5-wave lows or the 5th-wave lows, and try to avoid buying the green candles. Look for the red candles, and accumulation closer to the 40 cent you can get, in my opinion, is going to be maximizing the potential later on for this explosive move out of this triangular wedge that I believe is going to happen in the very near future. So guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.